Luke here with an update. Hey, what's up guys? So today I'm going to talk about something that I find to be very important that everybody has to deal with. Failure. Failure is the worst and it's unavoidable, and the stress that comes from it can be really hard to deal with. So I'm going to talk about coping with that stress and some of the things that I have done with my failures in the past. But first, and I know some of you guys have seen this, is the YouTube homepage is changing again, and with that means some of my and some of my friends' videos aren't showing up in subscription boxes. You can go and pin our channels. It's kind of a new YouTube thing. You can pin us. There's a link below and I'll probably annotate it right here. If you click that, it's going to take you to all the people that you're subscribed to, and you can go and pin my channel, you can pin my arcade channel, all the stuff that you like watching, or any of my friends or anybody that you watch on YouTube. Just go and use that system now because the subscription feed is being weird. And speaking of new videos, I did do a music video with Landon Austin that I'm going to put right here. It's an original song that we wrote while he was visiting. You guys should go and check that out if you haven't yet, because some of you were tweeting and saying that YouTube didn't put the video in the subscription box for you, so if you missed it, it is here. But enough about that, let's get some failure up in here. Let's start talking about that. What's up? Everybody fails at some point in their life. That includes you, Regina George. Is this too close to my face again? Probably. And I think that it's how we deal with these bad days, with the stress of the failures that we have, that help define who we are as a person. And that might sound a little bit dramatic, but it's so true. Think about the people around you in your lives. Who are the ones that wallow in blame after a failure that they've had? And then think about the people that after a failure they've had, they're still putting their best foot forward, they're learning from their mistakes, they get back up and they try again. So again, it's how you deal with that failure that helps define your persona. And a quick example of this is I recently had dinner with Kurt Hugo Schneider, who is a YouTube musician, somebody that I look up to as a producer. We were talking and he was telling me about all of these neat projects that he's doing and all of the success that he has, and I see that. I see him online and all the successes that he has, but then he brought up a missed opportunity and a possible failure that he had, but he just completely let it roll off of his shoulders. And yes, the failure is relative because he has had so much success, but he isn't wallowing in that failure that he was talking to me about. He was just saying stuff on the line of like, well, you can't win them all, with a smile on his face. I looked up some notoriously successful people that have had failures in their lives that they've had to overcome. One big one that jumped out at me was Walt Disney. He's been bankrupt before. He was fired by a newspaper editor. Thomas Edison, fired from 2 different jobs for not being productive enough, and it took him 1,000 tries to make the light bulb. Oprah Winfrey was fired as a TV reporter, and she was told that she is unfit for TV. Oprah Winfrey. The very first time Jerry Seinfeld stepped out on stage to do stand-up comedy, he was booed off the stage because he froze up. Even freaking Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Every time that I have a failure, and there's a reason why this saying is very popular, but I try to look on the bright side of things. Taking a positive reinterpretation of the failure that you've had, it might not seem that easy at the time of the failure, but I can tell you from my experiences, some of the failures that I have had, I'm so happy that I failed in those moments, because I wouldn't be in the place that I am today, where I'm a very happy human being. Another thing that I'll try to do is I will accept the failure right away, and I will try to learn from that failure. So if I got a bad grade on a test, what did I do wrong and what could I do better next time? Another thing that can be really hard in the moment of the failure is finding humor in the situation, or possibly doing a little self-deprecating humor on yourself. So say you got an F on a geometry test. You could maybe talk to your friends about it and be like, well, yeah, the Conard math gene pool is just very, very cloudy. I'm terrible at geometry. Not to say that you wouldn't study and try on the next geometry test, making light of the situation in the failure that you can't do anything about. It sometimes just helps ease the stress so that you can focus on what's coming up next. Another thing that you can do is, if it's an ongoing failure, something that you've done that is just going to take a very long time to work through, is make a plan. Make a plan of how you're gonna get yourself out so that you can go on to the next thing in your life. And if things get really bad, you can seek out emotional help with a friend, talking to a friend or possibly a counselor or your parents, and work your way through it with them. So those are the things that I will try to do whenever I have the stress of a failure, and I would say that that's a decent list for you guys to take away from this video. But unfortunately, there are some bad ways to cope with stress. And I absolutely am guilty of some of these bad ways of coping, but it's good to know what they are so you can stay away from them. Good example of a bad way of coping is blaming yourself, wallowing in self-blame. It's something that you did wrong, and yes, you accept that, but you need to find a way to get out of that, and depending on how bad of a situation it was, you possibly even need to forgive yourself and learn from the situation. Another really bad thing to do is to completely deny that the failure happened. Depending on whatever it was, it could possibly come back and haunt you later, and if you deny it and you actually start to believe your denial, you're never gonna learn from the situation. One of the most common and sad things that can happen is just a complete behavioral disconnection from whatever it was that you were doing, and you take yourself away from the goal that you were trying to obtain, and then after you gave up on the goal that you were trying to attain, you can have a mental disconnection and just give up on tons of stuff in your life, like sleeping way too much, daydreaming, playing way too many video games, and different distractions in your life that aren't getting you anything. And if all of this stuff is left unchecked, that's when drug abuse and alcoholism takes place. And what a terrible way to cope with the stress of a failure, but it happens so much, and I don't even think people understand that it's happening. And I don't claim to be this huge expert on the human psyche or anything, but I do find it interesting enough that I want to learn about it so that I don't find myself coping with the stress of failures in these bad ways like I have done in the past. And hopefully you guys gain something from this so you don't have to struggle through the pain of this stress when you do fail. Because not to be that guy, but you're probably gonna have a few failures in your life, and it's how you deal with it that will make you into a better person. So sorry for the more serious video today. If you guys wanna go and have fun with me, you can go over and watch me play Minecraft. I'll probably put it right here. I'm actually playing it on PC right now. It is a very fun game. If you don't know what Minecraft is, go over and hang out with me. You can do that here. Also, I started a Twitter account for Luke's Arcade. I'll put it right here. Go over and follow Luke's Arcade so you don't miss any of the videos, because the YouTube subscription box, like I said, is not being the best. The last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is that I am going on tour, which I'm sure that you guys know. There are going to be a total of 14 stops on the East Coast, and then 3 stops up in Canada. I'm going on tour with Alex Goot, Julia Shear, Chad Sugg, Corey Gray. Against the Current crew, they're super awesome. I want you guys to come, so there will be a link below where you guys can go and find out if I'm going to be playing in your area. I would love to meet you. Ingrid is going to be coming along. We are making t-shirts that we are going to be selling on tour. I'm really excited to show you guys the designs for that very soon. She's going to be helping sell merch on the tour. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and just listening to what I have to say. So I will probably see you very soon. Goodbye. Yeah.
Because you know, if a guy walks up to you and says, "Hey, I'm Joe," you're gonna be like, "Hi, Joe."
Yeah. Why are you coming to talk? Was like, how do I make a stick? How do I make a stick? And then somebody was like punching me out, and I ran away. And I was like, is this freaking Finnick? Or who is this? Like, I felt like I was Katniss trying to string up my bow, and I just got absolutely pwned.